Okay, so this is part two to our moving drama. Okay, so we left off with that we had two options on the table for our next duty station. So we were in Red Wing, Minnesota. My husband had just completed school, and now we were given two options. We could either go to New Orleans, which I was being told was not safe, or we were told we could go back to Okinawa, Japan. Now, doing an overseas move is fun in that you get to live in a fun place. But it is stressful, you guys, because if we had chosen New Orleans, it would have been a door-to-door move. They would have packed us. We would have already had a house waiting somewhere. They would have delivered our stuff. We could have got our son set up for school. You know, it would have just been very kind of easy to move there. Moving overseas is a lot more difficult. You have to put your car in storage. You can't take cars with you, so you have to put your cars in storage. You have to separate everything you own into basically 4 piles. So there's the stuff that you're going to take with you on the plane and stuff that you need to have for the next foreseeable weeks to months, because it takes stuff a long time to get to wherever you're moving overseas. So you need to decide what stuff you absolutely cannot live a day without. That's one pile. Then you have to make another pile of stuff that you think you would need to live for a few months, but basically pots and pans. You need pots and pans because otherwise you're just going to be eating out and living with paper plates for a while. So usually this is called your express shipment. So in this one, you would want to put your linens, towels, blankets, pillows, all the maybe clothes that you didn't bring in your suitcases, kitchen stuff. That kind of stuff is what you're going to want to put in your express shipment. Then you have your unaccompanied baggage, and that is going to be your furniture, if you're allowed to bring your furniture. When we moved to Japan, at the time, all the other branches of service were allowed to bring all their stuff, except for Marines. We were not. We were only allowed to bring, I believe, 20 or 25% of our total weight. So they weigh everything you own, and then we were only allowed to bring like 20% of that. So basically, no furniture, no washer, dryer, none of that stuff. Just your little things. And then there is your non-temporary storage, so long-term storage. So that is where you would put your furniture, if you're not bringing it. Or just basically anything that you just washer and dryer, that kind of stuff. You send it to long-term storage. So moving overseas is kind of a pain in the booty. And so we weren't that excited about the prospect of doing it again because we had just done it to Japan and then back from Japan. We had literally just got our stuff, and we still weren't even unpacked from Red Wing, Minnesota. We still weren't unpacked, and we were like, I don't know if I want to do an overseas move back to back. But the thought of moving to New Orleans and it not being safe for our children, honestly, it felt like there was no choice, and Japan won. So we chose Japan. So we are back in Japan. So let me just talk about this headache of a move that we have had now. Okay, so we chose Japan. So again, we had to separate everything we've owned into these 4 piles. Only this time, they changed the rule, and Marines are also allowed to bring furniture, which is awesome. So we packed our luggage, and honestly, I think we're getting to be pros, because the first time we moved to Japan, we took 6 luggages, and there was 3 of us, me, Neil, and Ian. And this time we had Henry as well, and we only brought 4 suitcases. That's it, 4. 1 suitcase a person. I was so proud of us. Neil was so proud of us. We were pros. So anyways, we packed up our lives. And I don't know if you remember from the last video, I told you how awful the moving company was. Well, after they had moved us, we had put in a formal complaint against them. So when we were scheduling movers again, the only criteria we put in was that we not have that moving company, because obviously we had complained about them. They were bad, and we complained about them, and we didn't want them to come pack our stuff again because, We didn't want them like ruining anything on purpose because they were mad that we complained about them. Well, that paperwork got lost, and we were scheduled with that exact same moving company again. And when we called to complain to our move coordinator, they basically said, it's too late. That's who you have. We can't change it at this point. Sorry, we lost your paperwork, but life. So we were like, oh geez, everything's gonna be broken. Everything. So anyways, they came and packed us, and we made that long journey to Japan again, and it actually wasn't terrible, but I will tell you that we had some poop explosions on the plane. I will spare you the pictures, although I did not spare any of my close friends the pictures. Henry, every inch of him was covered in fecal matter. I don't know how he did it, but it was everywhere. And I got him completely cleaned up. It was a task cleaning that kind of a mess in an airplane bathroom. Every time I would clean the baby, he would smear poop on the walls, and as soon as I would get the walls clean, it was re-smeared on him. Oh my gosh, I said so many bad words, you guys. So, all the bad words. Every bad word there is, I said it in that bathroom. I get him cleaned up, back in his seat, buckled, and he vomits. He vomits everywhere, all in those seat buckles. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So that was fun. It was a fun plane ride, very eventful. We made the plane ride here. We were staying in our hotel. We went to our housing brief, and I bet none of you can guess what happened. Yes, we were told that there was no housing on base again. This time, however, I did not tell you guys this, but I learned to drive. I know, it took me long enough, right? I'm 33 years old, and I have just now learned to drive. I've been driving for about 4 or 5 months now. I am still not a confident driver by any means. I am terrified of driving. I hate driving with a passion, you guys. I sweat profusely when I drive, and I'm like, oh, I hate driving. I hate it. I'm scared to death every time I get behind the wheel. But I did it. I learned, and I am legally allowed to drive. The driving instructor actually said that I did a really good job. I'm a good driver. I'm just not a confident driver. So we were told we had to live off base, but again, I was still not happy with this decision because I'm not comfortable driving. Even though I am legally allowed to do it, I'm not comfortable doing it. And to do it in a different country, I also have to drive on the opposite side of the road. I also have to drive on the opposite side of the car. It's terrifying to me. Anyways, we tried everything we could to live on base. Like literally everything we could to try to live on base, but they just said they don't have anything for us. You get housing by your rank, and so they do have some houses for certain ranks, but we don't qualify for those houses, and the houses that we qualify for, there are none that are available right now. They said that maintenance is backed up, so they are needing to maintenance those houses and also repaint them, clean them, that kind of thing, and there's a ton of them, and they can't legally rent those out to us, or they don't really rent them out to you as base housing, you just get assigned one, but they can't give us one because of that. So they told us we had to live off base, and we fought it tooth and nail, but ultimately we had to live off base. We did find this house. It is a beautiful house. Off-base housing in Japan, if you're a person that's ever going to be stationed in Japan and you are not a scared driver like I am, I would suggest living off base. Off-base housing is gorgeous, you guys. It's beautiful. It's big. What you get on base is going to be really, really old housing. And I'm talking 40s, from 1940s. They haven't done much to them since then. The walls, a lot of the houses on base in Japan, you're going to get cinder block walls. Why do you want to live there, Tori? It's mostly just because that's where I feel comfortable and I feel safe being on base as being someone that is not a comfortable driver. That's the reason. But if you are someone that is a comfortable driver, live off base. The housing is beautiful. I will do a house tour of this house, but not this video, but I will, and you'll see it. But it's amazing. Our house is gorgeous and it's huge. When we move on base, because we are on the wait list for a house, and when we are offered something, I will show you that as well, but it's going to be much smaller and much older and not pretty, but yeah. Anyways, we did end up finding a house, and I have been practicing driving to and from base because we wanted to re-enroll Ian back into the school that he was in the last time we were here in Japan. He was in one particular school, and because we're planning on moving back to that base, we just wanted to re-enroll him in the same school. He's only been out of it for 1 year while we were in Minnesota. We just want to put him back in. That's why I was practicing driving to base. Terrifying, but I learned. But yeah, anyways, ta-da! We're in Japan, Okinawa, Japan, for another 3 years. We have been here for 4 weeks, maybe 5. I don't know. Either 4 or 5 weeks we've been here in Japan so far, so still new. Well, we got our express shipment. It arrived and only a couple of things were broken, so I'm actually really surprised that those movers didn't break more stuff, but this is only our small shipment. We're terrified to see how all of our furniture and everything else is going to arrive, but as far as all of our kitchen stuff, we only had a very few amount of things that were broken, and it was nothing that we really care about, so yeah. That's what's been going on. But anyways, I just wanted to tell you all of our moving drama. And this is where we are now, off base in Okinawa, Japan. We're happy to be back now that all the moving and everything is done. Now we're just waiting for our shipment. Please arrive. Please arrive.